Melinda was a great well, I'm sure still is a great person, and really had was really kind and helpful, and because I was you know kind of mixed up from all the experiences from high school that plagued me for a while, to get through that. And she was always so patient to help me get to help me get to where I needed to be, and it was a great launching point to heal. um Sharon, of course, when she started doing it, the first few years until her life changed, and she had to, like, do other things. I mean, she was such a unique adult for me to be around, because uh um well, number one, I was a poor kid, so um my parents were not blessed with money, or opportunity. So just being around her for a multitude of reasons, but just she just seemed to know a lot about everything, or at least that's how I perceived it. She just knew all this stuff, um, and she was just very um, very giving of her time. And like I had said earlier about, she took us to Baltimore, to Inner Harbor, and my parents had taken me there in the past, but like she was just like, "Oh, well, we're gonna have lunch," and I was like, "At Inner Harbor? We're not allowed to have lunch in Inner Harbor. It's expensive." And she's like, "Oh, I'm paying." I'm like, "Oh," and it was just dumb little stuff like that, just obviously 30 some years later I remember it. Um, but just so if you ever had a problem, she may not always answer the phone, and most likely she didn't, because she was out doing something somewhere. But she would always call back, and and she would just help you with this, basically anything. Um, and she always never made you feel like you were bothering her or anything like that. When Jack was still in the group, um, he was he was the first, him and his partner at the time, were the first gay couple who I was around, um, for a long period of time. And it was just really unique because I never thought about, like a relationship. I didn't even get that far ahead because I really didn't wrap my head around it yet. And so just to be around, like, they lived in a house, they had a really nice house, that impressed me because I didn't live in a nice house. And um, and I I was such a bumpkin in the group. I was always you know, the um, the redneck, and um, just seeing that type of um, uh, example, was very, was just a good thing. It made me realize, like, oh, these are things that I can have. It kept me alive. That would be a big one. Um, you know, um, I really didn't know who Frank was until the group, because I wasn't allowed to even entertain the idea. So, um, it was definitely, it came at the right time. If it would have just been a year later, I'm not sure where I would have been.